All right, let's move on now to the fourth email today. And the fourth email today comes to us from Mark P., who writes, "Hey, John, love your show. Thank you so much, Mark. I know 2019 is going to be a big year for Disney, but I hear a lot of people predicting record box office numbers. I've heard some say that Lion King, Avengers, Star Wars, and Frozen 2 could all easily make over $2 billion, dollars, and others claim Avatar's record will be broken. Nah, none of those movies are breaking Avatar's record. Anyway, I assume these movies will do great, but isn't making $2 billion a difficult task since only 4 movies have done it? Do some people need to pump the brakes?" All right, thanks a lot for the question, Mark. And wait a minute, Mark, are you saying that there are film fans who get ahead of themselves? No. Do we as film fans sometimes get ahead of ourselves? No, of course we do. That's what we do. I do it, you do it, we all do it. The notion of looking at Star Wars, Avengers 4, Frozen 2, the notion of saying they will easily cross $2 billion is complete BS. It's complete BS. First of all, remember, Avengers 4, or Avengers Infinity War, I should say, Avengers 3, barely crawled over the $2 billion mark. Barely did it by the skin of its teeth. Right? It didn't even reach 2.1. Okay, so Avengers Infinity War, with all the hoopla, all the hype, all the everything, barely got into the $2 billion club. Star Wars The Force Awakens, which is just ahead of Avengers Infinity War, it also barely crawled into that $2 billion range. There is a reason, my friends, that the most exclusive club in the movie industry is this little thing we call the $2 billion club. It is the most exclusive club. In all of cinematic history, only 4 films have ever joined this club. Only 4. We got Titanic, you got Avatar, you got most recently Avengers Infinity War, and you got Star Wars The Force Awakens. Only 4 films in cinematic history have ever joined this club. And the 2 most recent ones to do it, Infinity War and Star Wars The Force Awakens, barely crawled into the club. They barely qualified. Like, they went up to the maitre d' at the first, and the maitre d' didn't even let them in right away. They were like, I don't know. Let me look at you. Your tie is not so good. All right, we're feeling That's a terrible French-Canadian accent. I don't know why I did that. Why are all maitre d's French-Canadian? I don't know. I sounded more like George St. Pierre. All right, we will let you in. That was also a terrible George St. Pierre. And the basic line is this. Even the 2 most recent ones barely got into that club. The notion, and you're not alone, I've heard other people saying this too, the notion that any film coming out in 2019 will easily get into the $2 billion, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Could 1 or 2 of them get into the $1 billion club? Oh, that's possible. Easily? Nonsense. And ain't nothing, none of these films are going to touch Avatar. Maybe one of them could catch its outside possibility, could catch Titanic for the number 2 spot. None of them are going to touch Avatar. So there we have it. But what are the movies in the running? What are the movies in the running to join that $2 billion club? Well, being a Vegas guy and being a sports guy, I like sports odds, right? 4-1 is more likely to win than 8-1. You know what I'm saying? So here I put together, and maybe if I give some thought to this, I'd make the list a little bit differently, but I want to throw these out here for you guys. So looking at some of the big films coming out in 2019, I put together some odds about, out of the films coming out, some of these big films, what are the odds these films have? Right at the top, you'll see I'm putting Avengers 4 and Lion King. I'm not saying it's likely that either of them, but I'll give them even money odds. I will give both Avengers 4 and Lion King 1-1 odds. I will give both of them 1-1 odds. So basically, to me, it's a coin toss. It's a straight up coin toss. Avengers 4 could very well end up being a $2 billion film, could very well end up being 1.85, whatever. It's either way, it's going to be a massive hit. Because of the reaction we're seeing worldwide to the Lion King trailer, I've bumped Lion King's odds way up. I might have had Lion King at like 4-1 before, but I'm putting it up equal footing with Avengers 4 right now. I'm saying Lion King and Avengers 4, I'm giving them both 1-1 odds. 50-50. It's an even money bet. Next up, I'm going to say Toy Story 2 is the next best shot. I'm going to put Toy Story 2 at 2-1 odds. Then Frozen 2, you can't ignore Frozen. Frozen 2, I'm going to give 3-1 odds, as well as Star Wars Episode 9. John, are you saying Toy Story has a better chance of making $2 billion than Star Wars Episode 9? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We can debate that. Remember, I just kind of threw these together. Maybe I'd think more about it, but right now I'm saying, yeah, I think Toy Story has a better chance, and I think I think Frozen has just as good of a chance as Star Wars Episode 9. Spider-Man Far From Home, I'm going to give 4-1 odds on that. Wonder Woman 1984, I'm going to give 5-1. Captain Marvel, I'm going to give 7-1. Shazam, 8-1. Both Aladdin and How to Train Your Dragon 3, I'll give 9-1 odds of joining the $2 billion. Now we're getting some really unlikely territory. Lego 2, 10-1 odds. Godzilla, 12-1. And Hellboy, I'll give 20-1 odds. So, in my list, the most likely to join the $2 billion club is going to be Avengers and Lion King. Least likely out of my particular list there is Hellboy. I'm probably missing 1 or 2 films that maybe should be in the discussion as well. But those are the odds I'm giving it. Maybe you like the odds I'm giving it. Maybe you don't like the odds, whatever. Again, like I said, I might even come up with a different idea for something like that a little bit later on. But that brings us to today's, ladies and gentlemen, question of the day. Now, you can answer today's question of the day by simply going over to my Twitter account, which, of course, there's my Twitter handle right there, simply at John Campea. Go over to my Twitter account. It is the top tweet right now. And the question of the day is simply this. Of all the 2019 films, how many 2019 movies do you think are going to join the $2 billion club? I've given you 4 options. 0, 1, 2, or 3. 0 films will join the $2 billion club. 1 of them will, 2 of them will, or 3 of them will. Those are your options. Now, I've had the thing up for about 20 minutes now. Let me see where we're at. Okay, so over 1,600 of you have already voted. Right now, the leader, 44% of you say 2 of those films will hit $2 billion. 28% of you say 1 will. 18% of you are insane and are saying 3 of those films were. And right now, 10% of you are saying no films will join the $1 billion club. The $2 billion club, I should say. So that's just right now. We're going to run this poll for the next 24 hours, and we'll give you the final results in this poll. So once again, go to my Twitter, top tweet, answer the poll. Will 0, 1, 2, or 3 films from 2019 join the $2 billion club? Go and answer those questions there, and we will, of course, give the final results tomorrow. All right, guys, with all of that.